So hey guys, thanks for tuning in to N.Y.A.G Network. I'm here with Tymila Taylor. Tymila, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to interview you and put you on my platform.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm excited.
Thank you. So we're just going to get right into the interview. So what makes you not your average girl, and what makes you stand out from others in your industry?
I think that I have been told that I have an eye, I guess, for photography, which I didn't always know until I kind of started paying attention to my own work. And one of the things that I really pride myself on is the fact that I can look at my work from like a year ago and then look at it now, and the progression is like a total turnaround. Right. So I think for me, I'm a quick learner anyway, so I guess that kind of also filtered into my work as well.
That's awesome. So what was your ideal career path, and how did you get started in photography?
So I was into video actually at first, and I always said I would never be a photographer because it just seemed like everyone was doing it. It seemed like it was too easy, and I think I wanted to stick with video. I didn't know exactly what, but I know that was my thing. And then I started interning for Fox, and I had to take random pictures around town for the website, and I fell in love with the camera, and I was like, okay, maybe I do want to be a photographer. So it just kind of went from there, and it was kind of like an accident.
Right. So you kind of just learned along the way during your internship. Yeah. That's awesome. So I know you said you learned a little bit along the way from Fox, but how did you learn videography and editing?
So YouTube is a wonder. I feel like YouTube is a whole university in itself.
Exactly.
I learned a lot, editing my pictures, editing video. I kind of just figured out myself, but as far as editing pictures, in order to get certain effects, I would just look it up and figure out how to do it. So I think I learned most of my techniques from YouTube, pretty much.
Yeah, that's awesome, because you can definitely learn anything on YouTube.
Yeah.
So could you tell us what inspired the name behind your brand?
So I'm probably going to end up changing it again, because it's one of the hardest things I feel like to do is to find out what you want to name your brand.
Right.
So tough. And I wanted to do something that had something about me in it, and it wasn't too corny. So I thought my first name, I like it, but it just didn't fit. So my middle name is Janae. So I thought, okay, it's kind of cool. It sounds different. So I'll go with that. But I probably will end up changing it again. But for right now, I think that's what I like the most.
Okay, so it stems from your middle name.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you also call yourself the femtographer. Could you kind of explain what that's about and where that came from?
Yeah, so I think naturally I'm just more comfortable around female energy. And when I first started shooting, I just worked with more women, just because most models I think are women, at least from who I was working with, and it just seemed like that's just what I was more comfortable with. And I'm a feminist, and I think most people know that. Anybody who follows me knows that. And so in the future, I definitely want to start incorporating that more into my work. I have something I'm working on now that might trigger a few people, and that is what I got that from. Because I'm just all about feminine energy. Not to say that I'm not comfortable around male energy, but I think I'm most comfortable with females.
Yeah, that's really awesome, because I think that's definitely what it's all about, is just doing things that you love, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. So I think that's great that you kind of are for that, and you know, are passionate with that.
Yeah.
So could you kind of describe to us your style of photography?
So I think my style, I'm moving towards editorial. Definitely a fashion photographer, and I think I try to go for always catchy and edgy and sexy. I like to have a lot of colors in my photography. and I just mostly want it to look editorial.
Right.
I'm not, like, I'm really picky. Like, even when I see other people's work, I'm just like, okay. And then other people think it's amazing, and I'm like, and that's what makes me harder on myself too, is because I'm really, really picky about photography and visual things in general. So I try to keep it, I try to keep it edgy and sexy and editorial for the most part.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So are there any photographers that kind of inspire you throughout the way?
Yeah, so at first it was just like random people on Instagram. I would like come across people who I really liked and follow them. And then there's a photographer named Jessica Kabasi, I believe, Kabisi on YouTube. And she is just really good, like, with what she does. Most of the things that I need help with, I'll watch her videos. And then Brandon, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I really like the fact that when you see a picture of his, like, you automatically know that it is his picture because of his editing style. And that's definitely where I'm trying to go for, is like using the same techniques in all of my photos, using similar colors and things like that, so that you see it and you know, like, okay, this is Tymila's, like, this.
Yeah, a signature look that you're going for.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think it's great that you have people that you're kind of like looking up to, because I think it's good that we like look to other people to get inspired to help us, like, our creative juices flow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So how do you shoot, or how do you choose like your shooting spots and like your subjects? Like, how do you go about picking models? And
so lately I've been working with the same model for like ever, and I try to go with models who have experience, because I am not great with coaching models into like what to do. I might be able to help a little bit if I want you to do a certain thing, but in order to like get the full shot, I feel like I need to work with someone who has some type of experience. That's definitely something I look for, and just someone who looks great on camera, because I know for sure, like, just being attractive doesn't necessarily mean that you're photogenic.
Exactly.
I know that myself, but I know I look like crap in front of the camera. So I try to pick people who I know they are photogenic and they have experience, and they're easy to get along with too. And because I've met some models who are kind of difficult, and it's kind of like, I don't mean to be rude, but as a model, you don't really have as much say as you wish you did. You kind of just, you can say what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with, and then that's it. And so that's what I try to go for, someone who's easy to get along with. And as far as like my locations, literally, like, if I sorry,
you're good.
If I as far as my locations, if I'm just like walking around or driving, I always find places that inspire me, and I'm like, oh, that would be really dope to do a shoot right there. And also music, like, if I'm listening to something, it kind of inspires me, like, oh, I could probably make something out of this.
That's great. So if you had to choose, what would be your favorite shot you've done thus far?
Favorite shot? Usually it's like the very latest one. It always ends up being my favorite one until the next one. And I think it's just for me, after I look at my work for too long, it's kind of gets boring. So the last one that I did was downtown with Ryera, and she made it look like very editorial. And it looked really good. Like, I kind of shocked myself while I was editing. Like, I was pretty excited. And I just was really proud when I got done with it. I kind of shocked myself while I was editing it. And then another one that is my favorite is another one I did with her. I named it Metro Retro or something like that. And again, like, when I was editing it, I was like, oh my, like, this is kind of popping. So yeah, those two.
And I think that's great that, like, what you do is what you do, but once you like look at like your work, you're like, wow, like, I really did that, you know?
Sure.
It's very like rewarding to see, like, at the end. So what inspired a lot of your visuals, like the alternative, instinct, impressions, Muse in the Woods, and Freedom?
I would say music. I think any video that I've ever put together, it came from me listening to something. And I've always been like this since I was younger. If I listen to a song, I most likely will envision what that would look like on video. And so usually if I'm listening to something, I kind of put it together. And even if I don't use that song for the video, most likely it inspired it. And also the last one that I did, the alternative, it kind of was like we were going for something else. I work with sometimes Art House, and we were like putting some stuff together, and it was one thing and then turned into another thing, and we ended up not using it for sometimes Art House. So I was like, okay, I'll just use it for myself. So the audio where we were talking about women who had to go to school to learn how to be housewives, that audio literally was just us talking while I was like recording. And so when I listened to it while I was editing, I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like this feels like it would fit. So that ended up just like happening by chance.
Yeah. So a lot of your videos kind of just are based off of like feels and like things that you're inspired about at the time. Yeah,
definitely.
That's great. So what do you want people to get from your artwork and from your shoots?
Overall, I think I want to be great at what I'm doing. Like I want, when people see my work, I want them to know that it's me. And I also want people to feel something when they look at my work. Like whether it makes you feel sexy, whether it makes you feel inspired, whether it makes you angry, if you're triggered, whatever it is, like I want people to look at it and feel something for it. And it not just be, another pretty face or something like that. Like I want to make sure my pictures have some type of emotion behind it. So yeah.
That's great. So I know that you recently shot a promo video for Good Girl Radio. As like a freelance photographer, how do you get a lot of your gigs?
Pretty much like word of mouth and networking. There was one that I just recently did that I'm pretty excited about, for an online fashion business. They sell Muslim clothing for women, and they sell all of their clothing online. And I found the gig on N.Y.A.G actually, and so every now and then I always look on there to try to see like if there's something else I can be doing on the side. I work as a student assistant for the state, but it's like on the side I definitely still want to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it looks great for my portfolio as well. So yeah, like Indeed.com helps, and also like getting to know people, networking, which is, it's not always easy because I'm an introvert really, and I'd rather not like work. But it helps. Like it's always about who you know for the most part. Like even if you're not good, there's people who aren't good at what you do and get certain positions and get certain opportunities. So if you are good, you can just imagine like what networking can really do for you.
Right, exactly. And I think that's very a good point, because regardless of like what field you're in, I think it's always very important to like network and just talk to people, because you never know like who can help you or who someone may know or anything like that. So I think that's very great.
Definitely.
So what advice do you have for people that would be interested in getting into photography?
I said to be competitive. That's one thing that I think is great, because for me, I used to compare my work, and at first I thought that was a really bad thing, like, oh no, you shouldn't compare your work to anyone else's. But I think it's okay as long as you're doing it in a healthy way. So if I see someone who I think is better than me or really, really good, I think it's safe for me to compare myself to them so that I can get to a place where I've worked hard enough because of this, competition or insecurity. And now I've gotten to a place where I work hard enough and I feel like, oh, well, now I'm just as good as you, or I'm better than you, or I feel like my work, or not me, but my work is better than what you're producing. And I know it sounds really like harsh or like, but it really is like that's how life is. it's a competition,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be competitive.
Yeah.
And of course you have friends and things like that who you want to kind of give support to, obviously.
Right.
But if you're not a friend of mine and you're a photographer in Lansing, most likely, like, I view as U.S. competition, and that's just what.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's okay to be competitive, because nobody's gonna just give you anything.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, practice, like, get out there and shoot. I make sure that I'm at least shooting once a week. If I'm not shooting once a week, it's kind of like, okay, what am I doing? Yeah, I had to be doing something else that's going to contribute to my craft. And YouTube helped me, like, supremely.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think it's very important, too, to kind of, like, scope out your competitors just so you can do that, like, comparing. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's a competition, and everyone wants to be successful. So in order to be successful, you have to, like, look at what else is out there that's in your industry and your field. So I think that was a very great, helpful tip.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So what can we expect next from N.Y.A. Photography?
I think more collaborations and promotions for, like, small businesses and artists and things like that. Definitely more short visuals. I just bought a new CF card for my camera because the one I had was way too slow, and I'm going to start shooting in 4K, which I'm really excited about. So I just want to start, like, putting stuff out there so people know that if you need promotion and good promotion, I'm the person to come to. Because Lansing is such a small market. So it's like, if you can't be great in Lansing, how are you going to be great, in LA or in New York? So definitely more promotion, more collaboration, and just putting myself out there, gaining more followers and things like that. I think the end of this year in 2018 is really going to be where I push my business and kind of push my brand for sure.
That's great. That's very exciting. I'm very excited for you.
Thank you.
And how can we follow you on social media, and how can we find you?
So Instagram, it is N.Y.A. Photography. That's Jonae Photography. Twitter, my Twitter account is just my personal account, but of course it's N.Y.A. Shooter. And my Facebook is my photography page for Facebook is Tymila Taylor, Tymila Taylor.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for allowing me to interview you, and I wish you the best in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys stay tuned and look forward to our next feature.